Hey everyone, William John Raitt back with another episode of Design and Invest. Doing a quick recap of last week's activity. We started the week off on Monday with one of our go-to clients for $4,600, and that was in West Hills. It was a partial stage. And on Wednesday, we did another stage for one of our go-to clients in Sherman Oaks, and this is for $3,250. On Thursday, we did a job in Los Angeles. It was a condo for a new client for $3,400. Bringing the total for the week, 3 stages for $11,250. Not a huge week, but we did keep the wheels greased and kept things in motion. We have a lot of things in the pipeline right now, and I mean, the activity and on all fronts of my businesses are quite lively right now. So we're going to be giving you some really cool content in the very near future. So real quick, for Monday's stage, it was for a guy named Lyonel Katz. Now, he and I hooked up a while back actually, I'm not exactly sure where the referral came from, but Lyonel reached out to me. He's like, hey, why don't we go grab some dinner? I want to chat with you about a few things, and just sort of, you know, he pulled one of my moves, and I love it. I was like, yeah, let's sit down. Let's grab something to eat and shoot the shit and see what can come of this. He's a short sale guy. He does a lot of short sales. He really finds opportunity, like I do, in a lot of different facets, and, you know, asks the right questions. And he is not afraid of spending money in the right places, which is always a necessity in business to capitalize, to differentiate yourself from the average cat. You know, he's got a lot of style to him, and I really appreciate that, because a lot of these jobs that I walk for flippers and developers and people, they have no flavor, and they just kind of go about it kind of half-cocked. And you know, I have respect for them because they hustle too, but Lyonel is more like me. He's a real interesting dude, and actually on the job walk, I got there a little early, and he hadn't showed up yet, and so I jumped in. You know, I see there's workers on the job site, so I jumped in and checked the job site out. And I went in the back, and I was just gravitated because this guy was to this area, because this guy was working on a bunch of wood back there. He was chopping it up and doing some cool stuff, and I'm like, oh wow. I was like, and of course, whenever I see piles of wood and like in you know, lumber and things, my mind just sort of goes to different places, and I start designing, you know, accent walls and furniture and live wood tables and live edge this and that. I mean, and then I see the guy, and he looks familiar to me. And then he looks at me, he's like, dude, I think I went to school with you. The guy that was cutting up the wood. He's sitting there with the freaking chainsaw. I mean, I probably should have been alarmed, but I wasn't. And I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, you look familiar too. And he's like, and we finally, I was like, dude, I went to high school with you. And this year is our 20th year reunion. We graduated in 1998 from Valley Alternative Magnet School in Van Nuys, which is now Lake Balboa. And the second he said that, I was like, boom, and everything just started, I was on the same page. This guy's always been into woodworking and just super creative. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And he said that Lyonel commissioned him to do some work for him. And he was showing me what he was doing, really creative stuff, really cool. And I remember back in the days in high school, he used to create these cool little wood sculptures and kind of cool things, and I had him do a few things for me back then. This is 20 years ago, you know? And so now he and I are like instant besties. I'm gonna have him do a ton of stuff for all my properties and for my clients, and just commission, you know, work for me. If I design it, he can make it. If it involves wood or construction or manufacture. I mean, like, he can make it happen. So I dream it up and he'll build it. And come to find out, and this is Steve Holt is his name, the carpenter that I reconnected with, and his wife is doing amazing succulents and arrangements and things like that. So I'm gonna have her do a live wall for me over at my flip in Encino. I had Steve do a live edge countertop for one of my vanities in one of my bathrooms, and I'll put in a couple pieces that he did for Lyonel, and just sort of things that he's done. It's pretty cool stuff. Wednesday's stage was it was for one of my clients here locally in Sherman Oaks. I live in Sherman Oaks. She's a very big realtor here in Sherman Oaks. Her name is Elizabeth. Her company is Elizabeth Sells, and I will include some links to her social media and website and such in the show notes. But she is a real go-getter. You see her signs everywhere, and it's so funny too, because like my company is growing very, very fast, my staging company, and I'm walking a job locally. I think it was like last month or a couple months ago, and my wife and I, we were just on our way home, and we saw a property. We're like, hey, let's check it out. Open house, let's go. And I think we're coming back from our son's swim lesson or something, and I walk in and I'm like, oh great, and I'm like instant business mode all the time if I'm in open house or what have you. And so I'm shaking hands with the realtors there and asking about the property and blah blah blah, and then I give her my card, and I was like, yeah, if you ever need any staging, let me know. And she's like, John, hello, you stage all of our properties. And I'm sitting there like, oh, who are you? And I was just kind of taken aback, and then it clicked that who she was, and I was like, oh my god, duh. But a lot of the correspondence goes through Melissa, who works for my company, and so it was kind of a duh moment, but it was pretty funny. And but she does a lot of properties out here, and she's a real hustler. She's one of those realtors that has a team. I think she has like 3-4 people on her team, but she is like hardcore. She really hauls the mail here in Sherman Oaks and the West Valley, and gets things done. And I really appreciate her business. And we do quite a few for her. I think we probably do about 2 a month for her. So on the design side of things this week, we had quite a few job walks for design jobs and what have you. One of my clients that uses me for a lot of his design work, he's a developer out of Long Beach. His company's name is Triad Ventures. He wanted some help with the property he's working on in Frogtown, which is a super hip area in adjacent to Dodger Stadium, near the LA River. It's a little pocket, and he is flipping a property over there. He might keep it, but he's most likely gonna flip it. I know him, and it's an old Spanish home, and we're adding a little twist on it. I did the design book for him, a really stripped down version. I only charge him like $1,000 because he does a lot of business with me, so he just needed a couple of design features, floors, some cabinets, mostly inspirational stuff for him to go on. And he's pretty artsy himself, so he went with what I suggested. But he was having a little bit of a problem with a deck design. He wants to do a deck off of an area that originally had an illegal addition, and so I sketched up a design for him and helped him out with that. But I got talking with him about like what he has going on and sort of areas that he's investing in, and he's hit me up in the past about doing some Airbnb stuff for him, and I think I have 1 or 2 for him that I'm doing with him right now, if I'm not mistaken. But I've definitely done quite a few of them for him. He just started a new company focusing on ADU homes, which is really all the rage right now. ADU homes are a fast-tracked solution by the government to the housing shortage here in Los Angeles. People it's affordable homes and those kind of things. So basically what you can do with an ADU home is you can convert your garage or build a unit up to 1,200 square feet and include that as a second accessory dwelling unit. That's what ADU means. And it's it's a really big benefit because homeowners can now take advantage of this law and convert their garages and then rent them out and supplement their, their income and their housing and all of that. And it helps the housing crisis here in LA and allows for more people to live in LA creatively. So this client, his name is Rob Berry. He is started this company, and I think there's a lot of synergy that can be had with him and I. He is going gangbusters on doing these ADUs and planning them and creating packages and those kind of things. And I'd like to create alongside his packages and help him promote those sort of Airbnb solution for these, because a lot of these homeowners, the reasons why they can't live here in LA or why they're being pushed out to other areas is because the housing costs are getting more and more expensive every day. So if they have an ADU and they're making more money on their for their house and sort of offsetting their loans and their mortgage and what have you, it allows them to stay in their house. And so he is willing to subsidize and sort of finance these ADU builds, and I would love to get in there and Airbnb those properties for them, so that way they can make $1,500 or $2,000 a month additional cash and rent these out, and they don't have to do anything. They literally don't have to do anything. They will do all the building, ADU homes, and I'll do all the Airbnb and furnishings and even design the units for them. And so we're going to explore this and see where it goes. I'm going to contact some other ADU companies here in LA and just sort of look into this a little more. But every client that I'm doing job walks for nowadays is like ADU. And so I have to get to know this market and realize that, people are knocking, and I got to listen and figure this out. So keep a lookout. I'll probably do some future posts on just ADUs, and once I realize, once I figure out exactly what I need to do in this. So my flip is finishing this week. We have a lot of last minute things to tie up. I have lots of people over there finishing up and just sort of making things happen, because at the end here, there's always the fine details that others don't really see, and nobody's ever gonna respect or do it like you would, you know what I mean, and what you expect. So I'm gonna jump in there and I'm gonna finish up a bunch of little details. I'm gonna spend a full day tomorrow and just sort of paint, touch up, and jump in and figure things out. Well, hello, William. What are you doing, buddy? Daddy's filming a video. You want to come out here with him? All right, come here. Come here. Sit down. Okay.
It's Daddy.
Yeah, it's Daddy's. Okay. We're gonna be done this week, and it's a lot of work that we're doing. I'm jumping in, putting on the painter's outfits and finishing it myself. There's a lot of last minute details that need to be addressed, and so I'm in the trenches with my team, getting it done, and I'm very much looking forward to this job. It's going to be very, very exciting. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Please like us, subscribe, follow us on all the social media platforms, reach out to us. We're all ears, and remember, always remember, design, invest, and repeat.